welcome to our book report. We are group number 8, and today we're gonna deliver to you the book And There Were None about by Agatha Christie. Our presentations will consist of 5 parts: the authors, main character, plot summary, lessons that we learned, and the comparison between the series and the adaptation. First, about Agatha Christie. She was born in 1890 and passed away in 1976. She was an English writer, and she had in another painting which was Mary West McCourt and specialized in romance. Agatha is famous for her uh, genres in murder mystery, thriller, crime fiction, and detective. Although Agatha was born in a rich background, she served as a nurse during the war period. Her first famous novel was The Mysterious Affair Aside, published in 1920. Agatha was nominated to be the best-selling novelist of all time by the Guinness World Record. You can check out her other remarkable works like The Mousetrap, Date on the Nile, Partner in Crimes, and our book today, And Then There Were None. Some outline about our book. It was published in November of 1939. It has 2 other names, 10 Little Niggers and 10 Little Indians, but these 2 names were too offensive, so we not end up with the current name, And Then There Were None. This book is Agatha's best-selling novel with over 100 million copies worldwide. And now we'll look through a little bit about the main character. We have 12 main characters, and each of them has a different characteristic to make the story flows becomes special. And Trang will introduce to you the summary of this notebook.
Okay, this is a summary of this book. Then There Were None is a thrilling murder mystery. 10 strangers are invited to Soldier Island by a mysterious character for different reasons. You and Owen. A mansion landing on this island and 2 servants, a butler and a housekeeper, waiting for them. They think they know to stay on an island resort. House near sunshine and sea air. However, their host, an eccentric millionaire unknown to all of them, is nowhere to be found. At first glance, there's nothing special till they get into their room. An old nursery dram about 10 soldiers framed and hung in each room. All are gathered at the dining room when a record started to boom out through the walls, revealing all their past crimes. Of course, everyone immediately starts proclaiming their innocence. What? No, that person died accidentally. I was never even a suspect. Who dares? After that, the guests found themselves in a dangerous situation as they watched each other get picked off one by one, suicide or something more nefarious. When they realized that murders are occurring as described in the RAM, terror mounts. One by one, they fall prey. And when they get organized and take a peek around, they realize that they are quite alone on this island. The first one is a young, immoral, irresponsible man, having his wife poisoned and suffocating one choke his little self. The second Iceland victim is the female housekeeper, dying in her sleep. One overslept himself. The third one is a retired general, telling that no one will leave the island alive. One said he'd stay there. The fourth one is a male housekeeper, the other's husband, killed for an axe while chopping wood. One chopped himself in half. The fifth one is an elderly pious spinster, dying for being poisoned by a needle injection. A bumblebee stung one. The sixth one a doctor had drawn. A red herring swallowed one. The seventh one, a private investigator, is crushed to death by a brass bear clock. A big bear hugged one. The eighth one, the soldier of fortune, was shot by Vera Clayton, the only one left. One got all frizzled up, and Vera finally hanged herself. One went and hanged himself. The last one is a retired judge whose false death is sixth, corresponding to the lie one got in Chancery. Before the wickedness out is none. A question that who has choreographed this scheme and what made this disappearance a more mysterious thing is that who will be left to tell the tale? While the police and the readers are trying to collect information about that, the fishermen bring the murderer's confession to the police station. The reason why we chose this book is that we love the mystery and suspense. And Agatha Christie was so amazing at keeping the readers on the edge of your seat until the very last second. And it is the incredible cleverness throughout the entire novel and the complete surprise ending. About the setting of this book, it had a large influence on the book. First of all, the story took place on the Soldier Island, foreshadowing the 10 Little Soldier Boys poem, as they both related to soldiers. Second, as this took place on an island, they are cut from civilization and isolated, which have contributed to a little bit of menace on the victim's part. This also took place in the early 1900s. Therefore, they wouldn't have cell phone or modern technology to have them. Now let's move on to the next part of Phuong Thao, lesson learned.
Thank you, Thao Trang. And now we admit that there has been many lessons shown in the book by Agatha herself, but we agree that these three are the most important and relevant to our model society. The first one is to always take responsibilities for what you did. Responsibility is something that many hesitate to take, but it is a necessary step to redeem ourselves and nurture us into a better person. The next one is that jealousy can be very dangerous. Jealousy can make us do things that we regret, and therefore we should never let it cloud our judgment like it did with the general who sent his soldier to death. The last one is that never underestimate women. Vera was the most capable and highly intelligent characters who rivaled with the killer themselves and managed to stay alive until the end. And now I would like to take you to the last section of our presentation is that the adaptation vs the originals. There has been 11 adaptations in total, but I would like to focus us into the most recent one, the British TV miniseries. The series stays true to the book plot, but some major changes have been made that resulting in ignoring what makes the book a masterpiece while striking out as an amazingly entertaining TV. I would like to first direct your attention to each character crimes in the book. They are all bloodless crimes, the kind that the law can touch. One character says that, in a way, it was murder, but it didn't feel like that at this time. But the TV series changed that. The crimes became brutal, bloody, and direct. The characters lost the belief that they were innocent and instead became killers hunted by their sins. Like, for example, the mercenary Philip Lombard, who sent his guys to a bush without water and
food so that they die from starvation. But in the series, he was the one who directly killed them. The series also focused more on the gothic paranoia sense, enhanced by the different setting, the large mansions instead of the elegant plotting in the book. There was also a romance added into the series between Philip Lombard and Vera, which gives the characters more depth and more character growth. Like, for example, Vera, who at first Philip has commented that she looks like a woman who hides something, and he was correct. Later on, she became more sexually driven and involved and invited him into her room late midnight. I would like to say that the series holds itself quite good and without depending too much on the book and still managed to be interesting itself. And therefore, if you happen to come across the book and love it, you should also give the series a try. And that is the end of our presentation. Thank you for your listening.